Hello and welcome to the Astrobot Spoilercast review from GigaBoots. I'm your host, Dan Video Games, and with me is Bob.
Cool Gex 2 reference.
Chris Wolfhard.
It's such a great wake.
And Dr. Agro.
You were off by 3 milliseconds. Do it again.
And if you've never listened to one of our Spoilercast and reviews before, what we're going to do is at the very beginning, we're going to give you a guttural sound that expresses how we feel about this game, along with a couple of sentences sort of synopsizing what we think. Then we're going to talk a crap load about it, going into specific anecdotes, criticisms, praises, etc., etc. And then at the very end, you will get a score from each of us out of 10 for a maximum total points of 40 points. It's like Famitsu, but no one sent us a check. So, let's get started with Dr. Agro. Agro, give me a couple sentences and a sound.
This Astrobot game is a beautifully expanded version of what was sort of a tech demo. It retains a lot of the same joy and polish, and there should be more games that are like it that aren't made by Nintendo. Oh, yeah.
Bob, Video Games.
Astrobot's a really joyful game with only a few things that make me go, maybe not. So I'm going to give it a ooh.
Chris Wolfhart.
Astrobot is really delightful and joyous. And there's only a few small quibbles I have with the game itself, as long as I desperately try to ignore the context in which it exists. So, ooh.
Astrobot is a fantastic game that brings you back to the sort of structures and joy of games of ancient times that we no longer do. If Astrobot sold Spider-Man 2 numbers, the entire industry would change overnight. Ooh. Hey, remember games with levels that you play in a certain order that look gorgeous because they don't need day-nighttime cycles for all the lighting, and then you can change the gameplay constantly?
And they don't have an ecosystem, and
there's no grinding economy.
Yeah.
like there's no world sim, so you don't have to you don't have to make sure millions of different NPCs interact with each other realistically. You can just maybe at most just have them walk by each other.
Yeah, this is also one of the first video games I've seen in a very long time that was like, yeah, we're just going to physically simulate 600 objects all at once, and you can knock them around and it looks cool as hell. Mm-hmm. That really used to be more common a thing.
It did feel like that's something that was ramping up and then just stopped completely.
We were like, whoa. We need that. We need those CPU cycles to run nanite. I really love and appreciate this game's ability to just give you new gameplay ideas so fast at such a steady clip. It is nonstop.
Yeah, it's not even afraid to just use it once.
Which is really important. It's really important to be able to make a thing you only want to use once because that adds to the variety.
Right.
It seems like it's interested in fresh ideas at all moments. And that is a hard thing to have a focus on in the modern scale of game development.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It really did start to teeter on the edge of, okay, are you guys just excited about iterating on new gameplay styles and sharing that joy with the player, or are you insulting my attention span?
Yeah, when they were talking about abilities before the game came out, they're like, oh, Astro's going to get this stuff like a rocket tackle. I'm like, I'm not reading anything else. I just want to be in the moment.
Right.
When you drop a new ability on me, like the chicken jump. And I'm just like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, like this game teaches the very important lesson that chickens are up and down and bulldogs are horizontal.
I'm sure you can use this in your daily life.
It's important knowledge to navigate this challenging world we live in. Yeah, there is so many different moments. There are so many different moments where they will throw a new gameplay paradigm on you, you know, with these special levels at the end of these galaxies. That it's just like, holy crap, this is amazing. And you wrapped that moment within this love for this franchise. It's cribbing this gameplay paradigm from. Absolutely amazing that they pulled off Ape Escape without using two analog sticks, and it still feels really good and gets to the core of Ape Escape. Like,
yeah, I mean, Ape Escape has never been a game that needed that. That was just part of its identity because it was to show off the controller. I feel like
at the same time, though, like, with the way it works on the PS1, being able to aim the net ahead a little bit using like I'm going to run this way and aim that way is helpful, and I will never get to grasp perfectly with the PSP version.
Right.
Because it takes that away. They added some really smart things, though. When you swing the net, you move forward slightly. If you miss slightly with the net, it stuns them.
Yes.
There's a lot of small detail they put into exactly how it feels, where it's like, please, for the love of God, let these people make an ape escape. Please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, they even put in the ape radar.
Yeah.
Even if perhaps that Ape Escape kind of won in by default in this case, it's like, we don't fucking own Crash or Spyro anymore. Fuck.
I mean, true.
Yeah, honestly, like I've heard Dan and Bob lament about Ape Escape for years. And I've seen footage of it. I'm like, oh, that looks neat. I played this level. I'm like, okay, I'm on board. Make an Ape Escape game.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Ape Escape was a great formula. It's like, what if the stars in Mario 64 run away from you because they're silly monkeys?
Yeah, I really do love Astrobot, but I think I'm starting to reach my fill of these. We have a linear level and you find guys hidden throughout it. I'd rather the focus be, no, just either just get through the level or find them.
So is that a fatigue from playing this one game, or are there other games?
No, there's so many, like Kirby in the Forgotten Land is this.
Yeah, I did sense a lot of similarity there.
Like the Yoshi's Crafted World is similar. Like, it doesn't have to be like a sentient being, but so many of these 3D platformers now are leaning into do a linear level with collectibles on it. Sackboy is like this.
It is.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'd like to focus on one or the other.
At least in the case, like, to make two comparisons real quick, when Sackboy's Big Adventure does it, it's sort of like just replicating the Little Big Planet style of the collectibles are in this level, you need to get them all, etc. And comparing most of these to Astrobot, I feel like Astrobots are more joyous because there are so many unique bots in this. You know, most levels, at most, it'll be half generic. Most of them aren't even that. So you get a lot of joy out of it.
Yeah, it's not like Yoshi just, it'll be that same star.
Right, it's like, it's a blue star or a sticker or something like that. Whereas this has personality and stuff, and that feels really great. It feels really great to see, like, oh, here's this awesome character with a goofy name and a funny description written for them. Their team did a great job with that.
The fact that it is that way, that they're like, oh, I wonder what it's going to be. I wonder what the theme for the characters in this level is, overcomes the situation that can arise when you're hunting down collectibles where you start to hate the collectible for being hidden.
Yeah.
And a few times during this game, I found myself thinking, like, man, going back and hunting for all these little guys would be more fun in like an old collectathon style open level instead of these linear ones where I only missed the last bot and now I have to go through the whole level for no reason now.
And that brings me to a point I really wanted to make on this. They either need to do a full open 3D sort of Astrobot for the next one with, you know, collectathon full 3D scale, big open map, or not do a next one immediately, do something else. Because after the, you know, Astro's Playroom at the launch of the PS5 and now this, I kind of just in general have my fill of the character and the aesthetic in the world, especially since I played the VR one, the PSVR one that no one fucking played.
Right.
And these three games hew pretty close together in countless ways. Like, they're very, very similar. I would prefer they go off and do a different IP or a wholly original thing or whatever, or just do that big open scale. Because it's like you're saying, I don't want to play through 3 minutes in a 4-minute level because I didn't notice this one thing up and to the right.
Yeah.
It's almost like the feeling you get it playing Crash 4 at all, but nowhere near as horrible. Crash 4 is an obsessive compulsive misery simulator.
Yes.
Like, it's so bad.
That's like if
That is indeed
the worst it's ever been.
it's like if there's 180 bots and they all look the same.
and every level left you with that feeling of, oh, you idiot, you didn't get the 180 bots that all look the same.
Yeah, you missed the 176th one.
Sony, here's the deal. you don't get to make another joyous game about the legacy of PlayStation IPs if you have to revive at least 5 IPs before you're allowed to make another game like this.
I'm there with you.
Yeah,
If they didn't cancel that Twisted Metal, then they would have had at least one.
Mm-hmm.
You made the free one, and then you made the big paid one. You better bring some shit back now.
Also, how strange is it that Twisted Metal's missing from this completely? You think Sweet Tooth would have made an appearance?
You'd think.
They have a show going for Twisted Metal.
That is really strange.
They had another game in development for Twisted Metal until only last year.
I wonder if we're gonna find out that's like, yeah, some of those generic ones were not generic initially, and then they got like excommunicadoed by executive.
It's okay. We'll get the DLC for Twisted Metal.
Maybe.
I mean,
it's already some of the third party ones are in the credits that are clearly going to have to be in DLC. So maybe there's also first party ones that didn't need to be in the credits.
Yeah.
If you're talking about games that aren't represented by bots in here, I want to talk about the clutching, chilling terror that was mounting as I got deeper into this game, thinking I'm going to turn a corner and there's going to be a Concord bot.
Wow, that actual fear never entered my mind.
I never even thought it was possible.
Holy shit.
I didn't consider it, but yeah, that totally would have been possible.
Weirdly, I had to have this pointed out by someone on Twitter. There is no Square Enix rep in this at all.
Yeah,
which is surprising is they even showed up in the last one.
It's true. I didn't think about that while playing the game because like any person can notice, we're in a Final Fantasy VII saturated timeline. There's so much of Final Fantasy VII media that it not being in a place didn't occur to me as weird. It's everywhere and it keeps returning and it will never leave. But yeah, I saw someone was upset that there was no FF7 rep and how much that meant to PlayStation. They should have had it. And I was like, oh yeah, I guess that did happen there. That didn't even click.
Yeah, it's not just not that one game, but no Square at all.
No Square at all. Yeah, it's very strange.
It's especially strange because there's tons of other there's a fucking Arc the Lad character.
Oh, there's so much shit that's like unreal. Like
that's
Boku
like RPGs.
From Boku no Natsuyasumi.
Mm-hmm. They got the Dark Cloud 2 character for some reason, not the 1, the 2.
You know, if Square hadn't spun off that one dev, they had Raziel.
I know, right?
That might have counted.
Right, they had him and Kane.
Yeah. I've now looked it up. The 2 characters I did not get was the Mad Maestro character you pointed out. And Taneo from Incredible Crisis. Because it is just a Japanese dude holding a newspaper.
Yeah, I somehow knew that was... I was like, is it this? But like, I didn't know for sure, but I thought it was pretty likely.
Meanwhile, everything else, they show a fucking dude cooking, and I went, oh my god, this is an Ore no Ryori reference. What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm like, sometimes like, oh, who is this? And like, I'm reading the text for a clue, like, this is a chef. I'm like, fuck off.
That's really good.
Yeah, there were only a few I had to look up. Like, when I found 5 of the same looking racing dude, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
See, I was like, oh, it's Wipeout. Oh, it's Wipeout again. Still Wipeout?
It wasn't until I got their accessories, which that system fucking rules.
Yes, that is a fantastic idea. Use your currency not to get the thing, but to enhance it with a playset is fucking giga-brained.
Also, like, the third thing I pulled out of that gotcha machine was a bucket of green paint to use on my controller ship. I cried a single tear.
Yeah, so here's an actual complaint about this game. Sony, why can't I be any of the VIP bots I rescue?
I guess making 170 outfits would be hard.
But they only made like 30. Like, it can't be that hard. Just don't care.
At a base level, it would be 6 times as hard.
Well, that's the fucking game you made. I'm sorry.
It does feel bad to have so few in there. Like, when I thought it was only like 30 or so, and some of them were pirate.
Yeah. I don't need to play as Freya, God of War. I don't need to play as fucking the Defender ship or or any of the pilots or anything why can't I be Rudy Rough Knight?
I get where you're coming from, and I feel bad for you, but the first 3 costumes I unlocked were Ratchet, Bloodborne, and Skeleton. So I'm like, this is fucking great.
Yeah, I was shocked that there were as many as there were because the dev team on this was 63 people or something. It seems nuts to have so many different playable outfits for such a small team when this game itself is already pretty long. I was surprised. You don't need to play as fucking Resogun?
I'm really glad that there are bots like Resogun. Like,
yeah,
there are ones that those are the best parts of the game, and I'm just like, man, Astrobot is neat, but I don't care that much about this aesthetic.
So
I'm totally willing to move on from it because just having literally, if Dante himself came out, like when Spyro comes out, or like when Mr. Mosquito comes out, that's way cooler.
So
it's true.
Here's my thing. My favorite one of those that's like, it can't fit in the shape of an Astrobot, but it's here anyway, is fucking Aggro,
Yes!
the horse from Shadow of the Colossus. Because I'm like, motherfucker, that's just a horse. It's just a horse. I know it's an important horse, but damn.
My favorite is Intelligence Cube, where it's just the level and he has no body.
Like, how do we display Intelligence Cube? I don't know, man. That game had 10 polygons. Just put it in there.
What are you going to do? Put in the two-dimensional guy who falls over and goes, whoa. Like,
also, what was it, Mr. Polygon? I'm like, you could have made this like a helmet he was wearing. This was unnecessary.
He was the first one I hit that was just a floating entity that wasn't an Astrobot. I'm like, Polygon Man? Really? Okay. But then that brought to mind, like, hey, I saw people who were like, this game is an advertising game, and it's an adver game. And I was like, no, that was PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. Like, that was the game that's the monkey's paw, business deals, cynical, nightmare, awful game. Mm-hmm. That's like, you want to play as Big Daddy from Bioshock 2 in the wrong Dante, right? And every human on Earth went, fucking no.
Everybody's pissed at this game because they don't let you buy things with most of these characters.
Yeah, It is a complete opposite direction here.
Right?
And, like, you can't earnestly believe that Sony's like, we're going to put Dart in a new video game because, believe you me, we're coming back to Legend of Dragoon.
Blue Point are big fans. Maybe they'll do some kind of...
They could make a Legend of Dragoon. They could. It is not cynic. It is not even sane cynically to be like, they're trying to dart pill me.
Correct. Yeah, I guess that's true.
Sony should be like legally required to put all these on back compat. Every one of these games.
They should.
Yes.
Also, you still can't play PS1 games on the PS5, can you?
No, they're PS1 games.
Okay.
Yeah, there's some.
Okay.
Ape Escape. Remember, I double platinumed it.
There just are not enough.
No, that's correct. There are not enough.
Not.
There should be fucking I'm the Chef. My hot cooking. Fucking where is it?
I don't know.
Is it in Japan? If that came out on Japanese back compat and no one told me, I'm looking it up.
Like, they should be releasing at least like, what is it? It's like 1 or 2 a month at the current. It should be at least like 20 a month.
Yeah, there's so many.
Like, here's who we went and got.
So this game apparently is selling about as well as Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Which is great because that game's unbelievably more expensive.
Right, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't
and
know
that game was still by disgustingly had the low modern budget of only $80 million.
Mm-hmm.
So the hope is this does well enough where Sony's like, people like platformers and smaller scale games and will buy them for $60. Why do we keep making insane? Like, at the end of the day, they do it because it makes them a lot of money, but it also costs an insane amount of budget.
Right, and the budgets that keep going up and up every time. Like,
yeah, I think we've passed the point where it no longer makes them a lot of money.
No, I mean, if Spider-Man 2 didn't sell well enough, that would be something. But unfortunately, that being the most recent one they did. I mean, aside of obviously Concord. Yeah, no, that was profitable within 3 months.
Yes, it was profitable. That's a completely different discussion.
In what way?
Well, it's about how fast you make the money and then how much money you make after that.
Oh yeah, but like something like Spider-Man 2 definitely has a tail. Like for example, I mean, someone who isn't in gets a PS5 or something for GTA 6, that's an obvious game they would also pick up because it's a broad IP, you know?
Yeah, but is Spider-Man... We're getting to the point where they're gonna end up looking and be like, Spider-Man 2 sold as many copies as Spider-Man 1. We spent 3 times as much money on it. Why?
If you're just looking at like the return on investment ratio, if Fair Games concords, then they might panic back onto a better path.
Yeah, one would hope. One would definitely hope that. I don't know if I can expect that from them. But you can actually see this part of Sony's like overall like revenue shit when you look at the profits versus revenue, right? When you look at like, here's how much money we actually made spending an insane amount of money to make it. So, you know, you would hope that this would be the moment, right? Where they wake up to, no, this costs so much less to make and sold very well at $60. One has to wonder if they'll do that. It's clear so many studios wouldn't be allowed to do that. Like, I don't think they're going to be like, hey, Sony Bend, you can make a small Infamous game after fucking Ghost 2.
Oh, you mean...
Sorry, Sucker Punch.
Yeah, Sucker Punch.
I was also thinking, Sony Bend, you can make anything. At all. We'll let you ship a game. Naughty Dog obviously can't do that. They're not. If that's how I will. You want to make me shit my pants, Sony? Let Naughty Dog make a Jack game in the year 2025.
I'm sorry. It seems like you can't let them anymore. You have to make them.
Yeah.
And
I wonder what the deal is with their next game.
Yeah, I feel like I certainly hope they're making something more on the scale of Uncharted and less on the scale of The Last of Us 2, which should be half the size it is.
God, yeah. Could you imagine The Last of Us 3 comes out and it's as long as The Last of Us 2?
Oh, I assume it'll be longer. I assume it'll be a full open world thing.
Who the hell would want that? It might be a full open world thing. And at the very least, then, gameplay-wise, it would have to be really different. But I don't want that.
it's like, we did it. We made Days Gone.
And fucking John Garvin on fire behind his keyboard. This is just my game.
It literally, like, Ellie has become a biker. You have to deal with fuel problems and clear out nests that are not infested by freakers, we swear.
They're clickers, obviously. It's completely different. Hashtag clicker gang.
Sony, I like it's very cute what your game does, Sony. Like where you have 5 levels, and then each level, the final level of each world is distinctly based on a prominent IP from that console generation. So you have PS1, PS2, PS3, PSP, Vita is abandoned, I guess, and the PS5 are in the PS4. Except you don't. You didn't use the PS2 God of Wars. You didn't even make it half and half. Yeah. You made it entirely the Norse God of War. I'm like, that's not the same thing, Sony.
Yeah, that's
these aren't
point
the same
they sort
IP.
of cheated their way around. Well, it's a PS2 launched IP. You've known it since then, and it's like, yeah, but I'm thinking of the PS4 while I'm in this world where I throw the ice axe.
Right. If they even put Athena in, that'd be something.
Or the Blades of Chaos.
Right.
But then,
yeah,
good
like
luck
you have
coming
a
up with
different
gameplay
actor.
ideas that are good while being a PS2 God of War. Because, you know, throwing the axe has various functionality, and the PS4 God of War is 4-level design and stuff. Is Astrobot just going to slowly push a guy into a meat grinder to open a door?
just reskin the extendo boxing gloves into being the Blades of Chaos and give me that for a little bit, and then give me the axe.
And then have a segment where you climb on a wall.
Yeah, I'd even redo the end of Hades with the blade towers, but like they're all covered in bubble wrap. Because it's Astrobot.
I mean, at the very least, it would have made it more clear that we were representing the PS2 God of War games if he just had sex. Let Astrobot fuck. That's the solution.
See, you need to he needs to jump into like a big cat bed with like a kitten and a puppy.
Oh no!
And just like pet him really aggressively, and they have like a cuddle puddle.
Oh god! I think the implication is worse.
You smash circle, but you hear meow.
No. You don't cut away. You get to see it. Somebody else has a camera, and they turn the camera away that you can see their camera being turned away. But Astrobot is just petting these animals.
Yeah, their camera turns away to the candles that have been knocked over.
Yeah, from all the petting.
Yes,
exactly right.
Hey, Sony, where the fuck's Loco Roco 3? The DualSense has that functionality.
It's here in this game. You don't get any more than one level.
Yep, that's it. We got to talk about it, though. We got to talk about it. Chris just brought it up. We got to... I felt joy for every fucking robot that was a unique design in this entire game. And then I got Aloy.
Yeah. When I realized what they were doing, I was like, because the Loco Roco is the fourth one. So I did, Ape Escape, God of War. See, I didn't recognize the pattern at first because of fucking God of War being the PS4 one.
Right, like
technically,
God of War did show me off a lot, and it made me
right.
Every time I got unlocked ones, I was like, "Please be Aloy, just do it now. Don't do it at the end of the game, please."
No, that was their ultimate payoff. Herman Holst had his payoff when he saw that at the end of the game payoff is Aloy. The weirdest part is it really threw me off from that we were doing PS1, 2, 3, 4 because they did God of War as the PS4 one. So I thought we were just doing any generation at random. So my brain's flying with possibilities because I didn't notice Aloy in the trailer being in a Horizon-looking environment, or maybe there was a shot of the giant T-Rex or something.
I already I didn't see any of that. I just knew once I played one of those levels that one of them another one would be Horizon.
I
without a
spent
doubt.
the entire game praying to God she wouldn't be one of those levels. Then of course she's the last one.
At the end of the day, it isn't even that it made me frustrated in the context of Horizon, how weird that's getting with how much money they're throwing into it to make, what was it, 2 multiplayer games, the Lego game, and of course, another giant Horizon.
Another sequel.
And trying to make a show, but I don't think there's any rumblings on that front at all. It wasn't even that. It was just literally every other one sparked joy, except for the 2 I didn't recognize, and then the Horizon stuff. And I was like, man, I would have been fine with this if it was earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't end on it. It's not a cool epic callback like Loco Roco.
Right, and that's the thing. This game really was about all these deep cuts to things that were kind of going away that had been gone for a very long time outside of things like God of War, and I mean Pyramid Head's big. He's everywhere. That man's going to be in a movie pretty soon.
One thing about the Aloy bot that I just found really funny.
Okay.
They give her a rabbit you unlock with the gotcha thing. That's her playset. They're like, oh, her rabbit friend.
Yeah, that's in the first shot with her, Bob.
It's also there.
The very first shot's just like Aloy and her good friend Rabbit.
Yeah, and I'm just like, but Aloy doesn't have a rabbit in the games. That would give her anything to like. Anything likable about her character. She doesn't have a rabbit.
I thought you were going to say Aloy doesn't have friends. Bullshit. Jesus.
It is weird how none of the Forbidden West shit is in this. It's somehow Ragnarok came out later.
But
there's Ragnarok stuff.
Obviously, this is a reference to Zero Dawn exclusively because
why would they do that?
Yeah, why?
One moment, I'm working through.
Aggro, are we wrong? Is there something Forbidden West that we just...
I'm trying to remember if Greenshine was in the first game as well.
That's a good question.
I think it might have been, but you used it for something different.
Yeah, it was really weird. I expected the sequence to be based on the Burning Shores DLC, do some sky stuff, right? Because that's a big thing about the Burning Shores DLC is that they have the volumetric clouds, you fly through them, et cetera,
right?
And then they made up a boat sequence where you're being chased by the T-Rex, which is pretty sick.
That was a little weird,
but it was also this is invented whole cloth in a way that it feels like none of the other ones especially felt like.
Playing that made me kind of think wait, yeah, Horizon does big boss fights, but I don't feel like that they're
sequences.
Yeah, they're not sequences, which they probably should be.
I feel like one of them ever was. I can't remember where or who it was. But yeah, by and large, no, not really. They don't... That's not what they do.
No.
They don't do that specific thing.
They're too RPG mechanic heavy. They're like, no, you didn't level up enough. You're going to be shooting this guy 300 times.
Well, I got to mention it again. Horizon is literally their response to Fallout and Skyrim. That was... And somebody who just
stop
flat out
saying that. Please stop saying
flat
that.
Out
stop
doesn't,
telling me this.
I'm sorry. I have to tell you the truth. That is the truth. That is literally why they made this series. And that's funny as shit because, hey, remember when Sony would look at a thing that's not being represented as a genre on their platform and then greenlight a thing based on that? What the fuck? Where did that go? They're like, well, the rest of the industry's dying. We don't have to try anymore.
All right.
I'm fucking cool. Thanks. Unless it's games as a service, then we have to try.
To bring things back to a little more positive side, man, that Uncharted level. Man.
Yeah, Uncharted level's great.
Yeah, that was incredible. That song it plays, it's like mixing in the Uncharted theme.
Yeah. Yeah, the song.
That cute little pop gun.
Yeah, and it just made me... you actually have to solve puzzles around the level by looking in the environment like you do in Uncharted.
Yeah. It was really neat.
Yeah, they really knocked that one out of the park and made me really want a new Uncharted game.
I'm sad he didn't. I'm sad he didn't pull out the book that has the answer to every riddle in
Right.
history.
That
in
would
it.
have been
You just
good.
push the button and he pulls it out and the puzzle solves itself.
No, so
That should have been one thing for sure.
here's the thing. You know how they teach you how to use a mechanism if you're not using it right in the upper left with the pop-in video?
Yeah.
They should have done that in that moment, but it's him holding the book at the perspective. And he's just like, oh, hey, look, in the book.
Yeah, it would be great. Like, then they made L1 and R1 shoot, so just hit L1, it auto-solves anything.
Yeah, I really think they put a ton of joy not only into replicating some gameplay from these, but also the song is absolutely amazing. I love that because the God of War theme for Ragnarok and also the 2018 is Norse, right? They're singing in a different language. In this, they just sing Astrobot, Asobi, and I just fucking lost it.
It's God, that fucking God of War segment. When I got a trophy for popping all of the green crows hidden around the level, I went blind. I don't even remember how that level ends. I went into a joy coma.
Yeah, no, they did a stellar job. These people should be allowed to handle any IP they want.
Yeah.
They should. You could give them pretty much any Sony platformer IP, and they deliver probably a contender for the best in the series, if not just outright the best in the series.
Almost certainly the best, because it's like this game, honestly, I put it right up there. Like, it might be better than Mario Galaxy 1 and 2.
Yeah, I'd say I think Galaxy 1 at least. Like, its structure is just much better.
Yeah, and it has a ton of ideas for gameplay. Which, that's not to say Galaxy and Galaxy 2 don't have as any.
Right.
It's to say this is nonstop, it feels like.
Yeah.
The fact they were brilliant enough to be like, Morph Ball. Like,
Oh God, it's the best one, straight up.
it's so good.
It is really
They're all
good.
really good. I'm sad that there's only one shrinking level.
Same.
that-
and
I
sponge
I would have
level.
liked two.
Oh,
Both
yeah,
of those
there's-
are really good mechanics.
Yeah, the sponge is also a lot of fun.
The slow-mo level they did twice, and those are incredible.
Uh-huh.
Why isn't Bayonetta in either of them? Oh, it's like this is
she's a
directly...
Nintendo IP.
Yeah, she's a Nintendo IP now. You got Nintendo cucked, man.
The song they played during the casino level was stuck in my head. Has been since that game. I'll just be sitting around minding my own business and casino. What? Shit.
Yeah, it's the soundtrack's so good. They the Ape Escape theme specifically is so clearly in the style of the insanely high beats per minute of the early Ape Escape games. They nailed that. Damn, they're good at this. Thank God the fucking Astro's Playroom and the reception to that got people to give them more money to get a full-size team to make a full game,
Yeah, it's great to see this be able to be this big. Like, it doesn't even just have the 5 bosses that you see on the world map. Each, different large area has several bosses in it.
Like the genie.
Yeah, the genie can just show up out of nowhere. Like, you don't know when you're going to fight a boss, and that's great.
And I love that with the genie, it's such a good design, but they went easy on you the first time. You get the refight that's harder. I was like, oh, thank you. This is awesome.
I remember thinking, sometimes it's hard to really quantify what makes a video game, really good. But then I thought, well, this is a game where you can point to the fact that it has 2 different giant skeleton robot pirate bosses.
Yeah, they even credit them separately, I think. Oh, I should explain my Gex 2 thing, my brain damage.
Oh.
Sure.
Oh, no.
He should have been in.
So it's near the end of the game, you get to an outer space level where there are satellites.
Come on.
And I
Are
have,
you serious?
I have so much brain disease. Like, oh man, this is Gex. This is like Gex 2. We're gonna find Gex here.
We're gonna die of space asphyxiation because we don't have enough oxygen.
Yes,
to
that was
run.
also a prayer.
Oh my god, Jesus!
Seek help.
See, they stick Gex in. And his bot pops up, and the funny name they just come up with is just pops up Dana Gould, and then the character text is just, "Yeah, I don't know either."
It is, being as incredibly old as I am and remembering video games with levels and level selection maps. The fact that this game had like the 5 distinct nebula areas that had levels you could do in different orders, but then there were like secret levels you could unlock by interacting with stuff on the map, things that would unlock after you've done stuff, and levels that had secret hidden extra endings that unlocked additional levels in the secret big area.
Yeah, it felt like Super Mario World, but way better.
Incredible stuff. Absolutely. Oh, and this game's too good.
God, every one of those secret nebula or secret galaxy levels was a banger. Especially the big haunted castle ones where like there's the time stop one and then the big light bulb one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ninja one was also really cool with the shuriken machine.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the shape challenges, the shape trials where it's, your face buttons. It gave me the most feeling like the speedrun stuff from Astro's Playroom, where it's just, this is a hyper-tuned, super scripted short thing, right? There's no moments where you wait for a thing to do a thing. It's, you can go full tilt the whole time.
Yeah, some of those were really great.
I'm really looking forward to them sticking the speedrun stuff in the DLC.
Yeah, no, that definitely made me want that stuff back.
Really bad. That stuff was huge for me in Astro's Playroom.
I found it funny that I got through almost all of the ones in the final world incredibly easily compared to earlier ones. Except for the one rhythm-based one, which was insane.
I entered that level, and I went, huh. It's rhythm-based, you fool. You gave me a different way to read your level design. I'm going to disassemble. It took me 30 tries. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy shit,
Yeah,
this
that was the
thing's
hardest one in the
fucking hard.
game.
I don't think I even... I may not have seen that one. I gave up on the shape challenges most of the way through the game. Some of them can go to hell.
The only one that I really hated was the one that where like things are flipping over on a timer because you have to wait in parts. So that made whenever I died very annoying.
I'm trying to think. Was that the rhythm one? Does it start with a 2x4 array of trampolines where the underside is spiky?
Yes, it is that one.
Yeah, that's the one we were just talking about where it's like, oh, this is a fucking monster. The thing that kept getting me is you do all of these segments. It's so many. If you haven't played this level, you don't know how many layers there are to this. And then you get to run up this wall, do a jump to the opposite wall, do a jump off of that, land and run up a wall in the background and punch this purple blob in time for it to not shoot you. And I really overthought that every time. Because if you go directly at him and punch, you will hit him before he can shoot you.
Oh, yeah, I did that one.
So I kept going slightly. I kept trying to dodge it. I'm like, okay, I'll run around him. And it's so deep into this level. I'm like, fuck.
God, I got almost like, I kid you not, second or third try, I got almost to the end of that level.
Oh.
And then for probably 20, nowhere close. I got caught up on random things leading up to that.
Happens.
Yeah. That always drives me crazy.
And then you just spiral.
Yeah, none of them really walled me that hard. I feel like the one that I spent the longest on was the fire one that opens with the grab the ducks and run across the lava.
That one is pretty tough.
That's the one
too.
I gave up on.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest one.
There's one where like the last section has like a glass walkway that's sectioned, and as soon as you land on it, the section starts spinning at you, and if that hits you, you're gonna die. And it happens so fast that it is unreasonable to react to it the first time you see it.
It loves doing that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no, you You need to do that again. You didn't do it right.
I don't, even outside of the special challenge run areas, I don't think this game is served, like it's not improved by being a one-hit kill. Like they did it in the first game because they were showing off the SSD. I don't think everything killing you in one hit is super great.
For me, a lot of the enemies aren't that threatening. So it having, like, to me, it being a one-hit kill means they can build any amount of difficulty out of it because there are so many checkpoints. Like, if there were fewer checkpoints, I would actually find this aggravating. But while I was playing the game, I was thinking about, like, it is kind of, like, nice that this is a one-hit kill game because they can build enemies that are mostly benign if you're just aware of them. You know, like, for example, the spike enemies run up to you. It's not contact damage that kills you. It's when they pop out the spikes. In order to pop out those spikes, they have to stop moving. There are a lot of enemies that are specifically like that. I think it's really neat, personally.
Yeah, like they balanced for it effectively. I'm not saying, oh, it's bullshit that you die in one hit. It's a weird choice to hang on to, I thought. Especially when they introduced the pumpkin enemies, where I have muscle memory from the first game to, oh, that's a spitter. I have to run and jump over it so I can laser it. Oh, no, it tracked up and spit at me point blank a millisecond before my lasers hit it. This is fantastic.
Yeah, it's also interesting when they have the blobs that do different arcs to how they spit. Like, it's very specifically, like, this one will always shoot high, and the trajectory will always make it so it's going to hit you, but it has to go high first. So your winning move there is to literally run it in and punch it, because it will just shoot over you.
I called that super wrong one time when it was up on a ledge, and I was standing on the ground at the bottom of the ledge like, he'll never hit me.
He couldn't do that.
Dude's a Kong champion. His Tandy was booting Kong every day. And that was the most boomer-ass gamer line in this entire podcast. I referenced Kong on DOS. Jesus.
It was good, Sip.
It was different times.
Sony, I have a question. Why do you have a retro voxel set of levels when you've made only 3D platforms?
I think it's a neat, like, if they had built more of the game out of the aesthetic, it would actually really rub me the wrong way. But I really like the notion of this is our voxel-based enemies where they break apart into different blocks too.
I was so damaged that I was like, this is a 3D Dot Game Hero thing. We're going to find it.
I did think that
You know
initially. That is, in fact, exactly what I thought at first. I was like, wait, that wasn't specifically a Sony thing.
FromSoft, can we borrow this? Please?
I think FromSoft only published it.
I think that's right.
They might own the rights, though.
They might.
Because that's how publishing
They
works a
might,
lot of the
yeah.
time. Not all the time.
I was upset that the ninja level didn't have a single ninja bot. The closest we got was Ghost of Sushi Man. That was two samurais.
I'm really happy that Onimusha was in there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that felt great.
Yeah, those characters that were in there, I was like, hell yeah.
You were sitting there, though. You were like, oh, where's Rikimaru?
Yes. I don't know whose door you need to knock down. You got Spyro in here again, and so Activision's not a huge deal.
I mean, you've been buddy with Team Ninja. Get Ryu Hayabusa.
Right? I mean,
ignore the part where that was like an Xbox important character for like quite a while.
Where's like God, what was I going to say?
Ayane?
God damn it.
Yeah, it was like Ayane
No.
Kasumi from Dead or Alive.
No, sadly, like all the Koei Tecmo things I think are more Xbox coded.
It's true.
Than Sony coded.
It's true.
Is weird just because like Dead or Alive 2 was
on the
really
PS2.
big on PS2.
Yeah, it was. But then the next year, Dead or Alive 3, or maybe 2 years, Dead or Alive 3 comes out on Xbox, and then Dead or Alive 4 comes out on 360.
Right.
Shout out to the Dead or Alive 3 Xbox commercial, which is entirely about two nerds getting boners.
It's all I ever fucking think about. It's so sad. Like, we literally just brought up Kasumi, and I'm like, she kicks really high.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's impossible.
Powerful
not to
marketing.
Yes.
Nowadays, ads are so diminished in their power that I can't even reference, I dip it in the barbecue sauce. And people know what I'm talking about, except for the people on this podcast who are damaged.
Yeah, yeah, it's true.
And maybe some viewers. I'm sorry, viewers. You shouldn't have to remember the fucking McDonald's meal.
I think it's funny that Sony like claims Fall Guys. It's like, well, we're going to take credit for that success because we gave it away for free the first month.
Yeah, they made a deal with them to
Yeah.
give the money to give it away for free, and then it became this hot exclusive. Where's the Genshin rep?
Huh.
I'm actually kind of surprised there's not a Genshin rep. That's actually a little. I guess maybe that I don't know. They didn't.
Could you imagine DLC has a Genshin rep?
That it
It's
makes
possible.
sense.
It could happen.
It could.
Like I can easily see you grabbing like two of them at once, and then it's like, oh, it's the boy and the girl player character from Genshin Impact.
The only one they should put in is Paimon.
It's true. And it should be one of the floating things.
Yeah.
For some reason, it haunts the pro golfer.
And it does. It actually talks unlike every other Astrobot. And it does not shut up.
No.
Like it's just Paimon. It's not a bot.
Yeah, absolutely. I was really happy with the Resident Evil reps in this.
Yeah, they are, I believe, mostly repeats from the first game, but still, it's great.
Yeah, no, they have that really good thing where she's at the door and there are dogs on the other side. It's really good. And when you punch all these things, they do stuff.
Yeah, no,
at
I had
the
to
crash
punch
site.
every
So
one
good.
of these.
Had to punch them all. Yeah, no, it's great. If only, the one thing I would have liked improved is if we could have had Wesker.
That would have been cool.
I was hoping we
That
would get
would have
Wesker.
been cool.
Did it? So you guys didn't get every bot? Is that right?
Is there more than 300?
Yes.
Then I did not get every bot.
I ended up at like 288.
Okay,
This is a spoiler cast, man.
Yeah.
The audience is going to get spoiled, and
that's true.
you can say anything.
I just that final bot is kind of a letdown.
Here's the sad part. Hey, Bob, what was the final bot? I actually forgot, despite what you go through to get it.
Yeah, we go through something pretty crazy to get it. It was Master Onion from.
Oh, I thought Master Onion was cool.
He's yeah. It's not as a final reveal. Like
That's okay, but I feel like if that is where Cloud should have been.
it should have been something big. It should have been something that they
Yeah,
wasn't
I'm
in the
trying
game
to-
elsewise. I don't know what, but something like a franchise that just wasn't shown before you got to there.
I'm pretty happy with that pick. Like, looking at the rest of the roster, there's a lot of things that would have been way worse than that slot.
Yeah, like Aloy.
Yeah, if somehow that worked out, that would have been fucking insane.
At that point, I would have been with you guys.
We found her, the source.
Yeah, then it's like no, Herrenholz needs to be expelled from the company.
Oh, yeah, no. Okay, so here are 3 quick picks that could have gone better in that slot. Keep in mind, once again, I'm pretty happy with it. How good it would have been if for some reason it was Soul Bad Guy who was in this, or Kai Kisuke who wasn't. The Motor Tune Grand Prix lady, which the moment I saw her, I'm like, holy shit. You've got to be kidding me. We are not cutting references to Motor Tune Grand Prix.
I actually had to look that one up because I was like, what are you?
Yeah, I know. I'm deranged. No way. I'm probably the only one of the podcast who went, oh, hey, it's her. Which even I was like, that's insane. No one would reference that. And then she gets the card. I'm like, holy shit, I was right. Figured maybe Legend of Dragoon had a quirky character I didn't know about that could have fit in that slot too. But yeah, what if it was Tony Hawk? What if it was the skater that was clearly Tony Hawk coded?
Yeah, it's so funny. The just pro athletes that they can't have a licensed person there. Like even Norman Reedus isn't in this, even though his character is.
That is true. They just made an Astrobot with the baby.
Yeah, and with the hood pulled up, so you didn't see even hair.
That's really good.
So what happens when you get all the puzzle pieces? Do they just build a giant statue of you, or?
Yeah, they build the statue, and then that statue.
And in front of that statue, you can build in exactly all of the bots you have until then ladder into the fucking sky to find the secret level.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's pretty fucking cool.
It is pretty cool.
But what if the thing at the source of the universe, right?
Uh-huh.
What if it was Polygon Man?
That would have been great.
I would have laughed so hard.
Mm-hmm.
That's honestly where where he should have been.
We tried to hide him in an extra dimensional hole. I'm like, fair. He is responsible for PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale.
The most insane thing would have been all of that. It's Mario.
What the fuck?
I did actually sit there and go, it would be really funny if any Nintendo character showed up in a game like this.
It's Mario, but it's like Mario RPG Mario, so he's just staring at you like a deer. He's like an uncomfortably high fidelity.
So, okay, I feel like it's obligatory. We got to say our top 1 or 2 franchises we want this team to handle that's at Sony. For me, Ape Escape far and ahead 1.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, Jack and Daxter 2. I want them to make a Jack and Daxter style Jack and Daxter, right?
Yeah, no, they could do a really good one.
Yeah.
Man, if you're not going to do actual real God of War PS2, why didn't you do Jack and Daxter as a whole level?
I don't know. Jack fans would have fucking loved that.
Yeah, like I'm not even a huge Daxter fan, but
You're
that
not a
would have
jackhead?
been. I'm not a jackhead.
He doesn't jack off often.
I wonder if there's not some like weird internal thing where it's like, well, we can't use 2 Naughty Dog games.
I don't.
That's like blowing too much smoke up their ass.
I don't know. They love Naughty Dog. They enable them too much.
Maybe less so nowadays.
The
I mean,
only thing that happened was canceling the multiplayer.
Right
Aside from that, they're the ones who get the show. They're the ones who get greenlit to do a third one.
After the remake didn't sell well and they canceled the game or the multiplayer thing, I don't know anymore.
Yeah,
I feel like they might be.
I feel like their position as the golden child is going to rest a lot on how well their new IP does.
it's so bizarre because reminder, the remake wasn't at first, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that was the Sony Visual Arts Group thing.
Yeah.
So they wrestled it out of their hands so they could make it, and then it didn't sell for shit.
Yeah.
That's such a weird, so many layers of what did we learn here?
Absolutely nothing.
Yup.
It's true.
I'm starting to wonder between those and Until Dawn and fucking Concord and all of this, if Sony isn't going, we're gonna kill Jim Ryan. We're gonna find him. We're gonna bury that man. He fucking left us.
Sadly, Herman Hulst remains to absorb all his sins.
No, it's true. He's in the company in order to be like, yeah, I mean, I was the vizier, but you know, come on now, don't kill me. Hiroki Totogi's just like, we're gonna ship new IPs, and I'm not gonna kill you, even though I want to. Yeah, no, I can't imagine being the guy from financing and looking at how all the Naughty Dog shit for a while now has gone and be a big fan. I cannot. But they're deep in development already on 3. They already did the casting call and shit for actors. Like, that already happened.
For Last of Us 3?
Yeah, that already happened. But, you know, that was before Hiroki showed up. Who knows? Maybe there's a moment where they're like, that's cool. Here's a cooler idea. No. But yeah, no, I think Jack and Ape Escape, I would be thrilled if they made either. I think Jack as the PS2 rep would have been, frankly, even better than God of War because this is a game about deep cuts. You giving me the PS4 God of War moment, really great. That world has so many fun gameplay ideas and little things built into it, so much joy. But it really would have been nice to get more actual deep cuts to the origin. And it would have helped me identify the pattern of PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Like, you actually fucked up your own thing with that. Like, I didn't understand what you were doing until I got to Loco Roco.
And so,
honestly, I didn't understand that's what they were doing till somebody said it. I just went, what the fuck is Loco Roco doing here?
why wasn't there a Gravity Rush level then for the Vita?
I don't know.
Come on, man.
Maybe that'll be the DLC. Maybe we'll get the Gravity Rush.
Oh, that would whip
Man,
so
they
much
can't.
ass.
That would. The Sony seems to have fucking, like, we joked about them ripping out Concord, or like ripping out what was the other one? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But they seem to get vengeful about when games bomb. Like they haven't, like, it's Women's Day. Look at these female PlayStation heroes. Like, those collages haven't included Kat from Gravity Rush for like 5 or 6 years.
The funny part is it's always been the same picture. They cropped her out.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Why are they so stupid?
She's just a little bit
Why are
farther
they
to the
so
right.
Stupid?
Are you
Why are
fucking?
they
That's
so
fucking
stupid?
insane.
Yeah.
That's fucking insane. You know what it is? Here's my theory. The social media manager's tired of getting asked who the fuck's that on the right. I'm just like, okay, let's
You don't have to answer. What does it matter?
No, he's reading it. That's his job, and he's fucking pissed. So he cropped her out. I do think it would have been better with some Jack representation, and maybe just stick the new style God of War in the PS4 slot, because it's the new style God of War. Like, I wasn't once thinking of the PS2 when that happened. I was exclusively because it's like, and kind of
also even that one's leaning hard into Ragnarok. So it feels like a PS5 game, even though I know it's on the PS4.
Yeah,
it feels like a PS5 game.
We've never seen that PS4 version.
We have not. Have anyone on the podcast? I assume not.
I really want to see
why
that
the hell
shit.
would I?
I'm so curious. We should, Bob, triple flop swap. We get the PS4, the PS5, and the PS5 Pro. And people can just see, here's the PS4 version, here's the PS5 Pro version. What? That better look radically better. That better look nowhere near the same. That better look like nice Atari game, fucker.
See, Dan, what you got to have with that is a particular amount of money someone can donate at once to shuffle. It's like, we're not telling you which one this is. Can you not look at it and tell?
They're like, just came from PS4 going to PS5. They're like, that's so good, that must be PS5 Pro. Or they just came from PS4, went to PS5 Pro, and they're like, this isn't the Pro.
No.
That would be so funny. God, that console launches. That stream is going to be unreal. As we just go, this thing costs $780. It better be obvious.
Randomized sound redeem of just 8 different people going $780
with like an ominous echo on it, deep reverb. Yeah, as dumb as it is, I do want to see this game on the Pro. Like, Astrobot looks great, but it does have a dynamic resolution, so I do want to see it just perfectly crisp at all times. That sounds dope as shit. Immaculate looking game, though. Oh wait, there actually is one shortcoming visually. The HDR is not very good, and that's things I've heard from other people who would know this sort of thing. Just hard confirm. Like, yeah, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look broken bad. It just looks basically the same as SDR. Like, the HDR implementation doesn't pop in any way. I do find it funny, though, that they have the bright mode in HDR. That's the first time I've seen a game just go, oh, yeah, you want everything to be really fucking bright? And I'm like, let me see how that looks. Cool.
Burn me out.
It's kind of what it feels like when your CRT was way too bright back in the day. You're just like too close to it or something.
I am 100% on board with Team Asobi making a Jack game, so I can play that and be like, oh yeah, I love Jack. What? No, not those. The old ones. Ew. No.
I do wonder if certain people who loved Jack back in the day have maybe gone on a dark path since, and if a game in the style of an Asobi visual game, like visually these games, came out that was Jack, they would lose their goddamn minds because they want it to look like Uncharted 4.
They might, yeah.
I think that's really possible, and that's really funny to me.
Let Asobi make a new medieval game.
No, I'm sorry. It's too Jim Ryan powered. It can't.
I'm
sorry. I should have just said it's too British.
aggro has now brought evil in, because I'm like, I would be so fucking livid. I'd be maybe madder than I've ever been at Sony. Like, you made it would be like seeing a miracle wasted.
It really would.
It would be like that guy miraculously recovered from cancer and then went and did coke and heroin until he died that day.
Oh man, if you didn't like how British that pick was, maybe I shouldn't talk about Tearaway.
No, that's fine. That's British.
Tearaway's more valid. Tearaway is more valid than Medieval, because at least that's a bunch of different shit with a distinct aesthetic.
Yeah, I think that the only thing I'd find really weird about Tearaway is making that game a bigger scale. I don't know if it goes up. Like,
I don't know if you even try.
Right?
Yeah, also making Tearaway on a controller. Like, their games kind of already have the spirit a little bit of Tearaway, where the whole idea of Tearaway is it's taking advantage of the back touch, the front touch, the camera, everything. And Astrobot already does that with everything with the haptics and adaptive triggers. It would basically be like they just changed visuals and story. So I guess that's really fitting if they don't want to sell any copies.
Iota jumps and little lasers come out of his paper feet. Like, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
Ape Escape is the obvious one. But I think they'd really do great at Sly.
They would.
Sly also has all these different gameplay elements, and I really think they could do a lot with it.
Yeah, I think with all these burnouts we're getting and the way Sony has been heading, maybe we are sitting on the precipice of them expanding out development more and re-exploring these old IPs.
Maybe.
Because the crash is coming if they don't.
God. But yeah, obviously I would also be like, far and away, Ape Escape, that needs to return. Like, that's obviously what you should have them do.
Mm-hmm.
But if they don't do that, maybe try making a Gravity Rush in this style. Like, make a completely different idea of what a Gravity Rush game is.
So you want Bayonetta, but it's Gravity Rush? Because it would be linear levels.
It with no combat, though. Like, it's
none?
Basically none. Like, you have the bizarre gravity-based mechanics around platforming levels.
Well, shit, at that point, instead of making a Gravity Rush, just make it a space thing, and then you can call it I don't know, Pragmata. That way it's shipped. Ever.
Then why would you call it Pragmata?
There must always be a Pragmata king. Yeah, I Jesus.
God, yeah, now I'm just imagining the Ape Escape that is. Every new tool you get is as cool as these tools you get in Astrobot.
Right.
Like, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already experienced in all the things you would need them to be able to do to make an Ape Escape. Their collectibles have personality. That's the same deal in Ape Escape. Every ape had a bio and a personality to it.
Mm-hmm.
And funny jokes written in the text about them.
And apes already dressed up as famous characters like Metal Gear Solid.
That would be so fucking funny if they're just like, it's the same game again, but they're apes this time. And I'm like, hey, Ape Escape's back. Gamers love this one trick.
Yeah, no, I would never stop clapping.
Yeah, me neither.
It's just like that's just a flat upgrade in every way.
They're like, and the name of our main character is Kakeru. Japan wins the culture war.
I do wonder if they made a new Ape Escape, if it would just be fucking Spike again, or if they'd make a new MC, be like, here's the new one for the new era.
It would be really cool to get a new one. I never really minded them moving on.
Mm-hmm.
Still got to have Spectre, though. He's important.
Of course.
Yeah.
What about those banana fuckers from? It's 2 or is it 3 where you have to fight the super bosses that are all like one of them's a really fat monkey.
They should not come back. We need a new set of villains for him to command for sure.
God, what was the name of them? The Banana 5?
Something like that. It was great.
They should jerk off. No, I have to save this for Armchair Dev's Ape Escape.
I was thinking about how we haven't done one of those the other day. I was like, oh, that's perfect. Now's the time. So, Bob, Ape Escape didn't come back the first time we did Ape Escape month. We got to do it again.
I guess.
We just did it wrong or something. Maybe our hearts were full of evil.
I don't know. We got the Ape Escape Twitter account to come back, and then nothing happened to that.
Oh, man, I'm so excited for you to play that dog shit move game again.
Well, maybe the USB extension was cable we were using was why it didn't work properly last time. This time, we won't make that mistake. And it'll work.
That wasn't the problem.
It's totally the problem. There's no way they shipped a game that just doesn't work right? The Freaky Monkey 5. There you go. That's the name of that. Those Chad-like characters that need to return because everyone loves them.
That's like bringing back, what are those Sonic characters everyone hates?
The Deadly Six.
The Deadly Six. It's exactly like that.
Has anyone ever drawn the Deadly Six as the Sinister Six photo with like Rhino and them hanging out looking like dipshits?
I can only assume.
Well, we need to wrap this up. Did anyone have any other anecdotes, musings, criticisms, praises, etc.?
One thing that it didn't happen often, but when it did, it was jarring. Either I control the camera or you do, but you've got to pick one. Like the best example is I was doing one of those mini levels where it was the round construction arena, and it's the kind of floor that crumbles away when you hit it with the laser.
Mm-hmm.
And there were 3 of those bell enemies in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, here's the play. I'll just stand in between the 3 of them so I can avoid all of their shockwaves really easily, and then do the smallest path around the middle platform. Standing in between those bell enemies drove that camera nuts.
Yeah, that also happened for me, but I didn't stand in the middle of them, so I didn't get it the worst. But yeah, the camera really wants to do things in regards to those bell enemies.
Weird.
I really did like the breakable floor levels. That is a really neat idea for those challenges. Yeah, that's really cool. I believe they were crumble challenges. Crumble, I believe, was the word they used. Crumble Rumble. Yeah,
that's a neat challenge.
Yeah, those are cool.
The whole destructible floor mixed with your weird laser glide double jump thing is a really nice little mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did find a lot of times I died was because the camera was not giving me the depth perception I needed.
Oh, yes. Mm-hmm.
You know what would do that, though? VR. If you could make a VR mode, that would have been nice. Oh, well. That's okay.
I don't know if it was just me, but the whole big hurrah section where you've got the whole fleet of PlayStation products shooting at the space aliens. We're going through all the gens, and it's this really cool like salute to the troops. Was it just me, or was the PS3 section like, we're here, bye? It's just going to sweep that under the rug.
Yeah, it felt a little like that. I was like, that's weird. Okay, bye. Bye, Nathan Drake. Goodbye.
I did my part, but you didn't do anything.
Did anybody else have the problem where you try to do a thing that required a bunch of bots in the crash site and be like, we'll get here when we get here, bro?
Oh, yeah, they just take forever to get to the actual spot. Yeah,
Yep.
I had that happen a few times.
Like, it's an SSD, guys. You can just spawn them behind me.
It's funny because sometimes when that would happen, it'd be like, oh, here's a bunch of generic ones. You'll spawn all of those in, and then so the first half of the ladder is nothing but regular bots.
And then you get to the
top
end, and it's like Kazuya Mishima.
Yes.
Let them make a Pikmin game.
Yeah, no, they clearly showed that they love that.
I wish this had shipped with any speedrun levels.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really am just grading this based on the understanding that there is speedrun levels coming in the free DLC, because they said it was.
Yeah.
So,
and it's supposed to be this year, so it's not
by the end of the
long.
year, free and confirmed. So
I don't understand why they couldn't be like, okay, those challenge levels are also speedrun levels.
yeah, I do think the trials, like the
they're
face
paced
trials,
pretty much like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do think they should make those speed runnable.
Yeah, it could be that the infrastructure for the speed running isn't ready yet, and that's why those levels don't have it already.
Right, or maybe they're trying something new for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's for me, since the polish and everything of the main gameplay experience was so good, then I kind of feel like, well, it was worth it to get that, like, we only have 3 months left in this year.
Mm-hmm.
So get it a little bit later, within 3 months, just to make sure that core experience is absolutely polished to a mirror sheen. So I'm not too jilted about it, but my grade straight up is just assuming those ship in the next 3 months at any quantity.
Here's one.
I'm like, well, time to hang myself. Okay, well, that's going to do it. Let's get to the summary reviews and scores. There's a few sentences about your thoughts on this game, followed by your score on 1 to 10. We're going to start with Bob.
Yeah, this game's really great. I am getting tired of the aesthetic of Astrobot in general. I hope they move on to something else, but I think this did a really good job of showing everything they could do with it. So I'm glad they were able to do it, and I hope we can move on from that now. But with a few other things like Aloy harshing the vibe at the end of the game.
Skill issue.
Just, I'm going to give it a 9. Like, it's really good, but I could easily see a few more things that just knocked it out of the park. And maybe they'll do that with DLC, but who knows?
You can say it was the ninjas. It's okay. But, it's after this, they can move on to a fresh new aesthetic. Funko Pops.
Yeah, they need to. I want a character again. I don't like this is Sackboy. I'm like, no, we need like an actual mascot creature.
Well, I was going to say, you're tired of Astrobot already. Sackbot's eternal. He's timeless. What a great design. I love him as a mascot, and so does all of my chat, you fuckers.
We really need You need a character again, Sony. Not a cipher.
Mm-hmm.
Not a vessel.
The Sackboy bot looked so fucking weird, I couldn't tell what it was till the descriptive text popped up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I think I had that moment too of like, monkey?
Frankenstein?
1 second. I don't think it was that hard. I'm now looking it up to. Are you all serious? Monkey? It has a giant zipper on its neck.
Look, it was before I even grabbed him. It was just him in the environment. It was like,
Monkey.
creature.
We go next to Dr. Aggro.
Astrobot is a page out of the Old Testament writ large in modern day. It's stereotypically, they don't make them like this anymore. It was a game made by a talented team who knew what they were doing and was an actual joy to play, despite a couple of calls that I might have made differently and a few really mini challenge levels that can go straight to hell and burn there. It's one of those games you finish and you're glad you actually played. It's a 9 easy.
Chris Wolfhard.
Yeah, Astrobot is joyous, and the only real issue with the game are external. Like, the only issues are the context it exists in and not anything inside the game itself, except, you know, the handful of quibbles we talked about already. It's an easy 9. Get your shit together, Sony.
When we played Astro's Playroom, I'm like, you make a full scale one of these, it'll probably get a 10 for me. Man, I am right all the time. This game is absolutely fantastic. It's full of so much joy and so many fresh ideas for gameplay. Non-fucking stop. This is literally what I want video games to be. I want them to be levels. I want them to be polished to a mirror sheen. I want them to be 10 to 12 hours. I want them to look gorgeous and unassailable. Not one part of this do I go, that looks bad. Except for the HDR, which doesn't look bad. It just doesn't look exceptional like a lot of other Sony games. Absolutely stellar game. I loved it. However, this 10 absolutely is based on they ship any of this. Like, if they just somehow went, we lied.
Oh, God.
Then understand retroactively 9. But with the understanding that I even get one level that is a speedrun challenge in the next 3 months, plus these other characters like Stellar Blade.
And Rise of Roan Man.
This was a great time. Absolutely stellar time. I had so much fun with this. 10 out of 10. Absolutely. And that brings the average score to a 9.25. 30. Oh no, math. 7 points out of 40. Thank you so much for listening to this Spoilercast review. We have countless others for other things, such as I can't think of anything hyper relevant to this because they stopped making games like this. So hey, you want to like listen to us talk about the Sonic movie?
No, we talk about the Sonic TV show.
We talk about Sonic movie too.
Oh, we do talk about Sonic movie too.
The movie. And the Wade Show.
Yeah, the Wade Show.
You all love Wade. It's his world after all. They should give him a spin-off movie and call it Wade's World.
No, I don't want to see any more Wade.
I want to see a Wade show more than I want to see fucking The Last of Us 3.
Yes.
Oh,
that's not a bar.
Coughing baby versus coughing baby.
Yeah.
Versus big coughing baby. Is it more athletic? No, it's just fat. That's it.
I mean, I do kind of want to see somebody hold Knuckles down and somebody say clip his wings and they hit his giant knuckles with a hammer.
That sounds great. That's how Amy Rose shows up for the first time in the franchise. The executive producers for this GigaBoots video are Esme, Ely Broyles, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, A Reminder for Symphony of War, Cooper Tank, Very Best Plot, Iconic Bane, and Rado. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these guys. If you want to become an executive producer or normal patron, head on over to patreon.com/gigaboots today.